Let's get up to the Skype wall. Nathan's there. He's a Wolves fan, he's an England fan, and delighted to say he's a Sports Night Live fan. That's why we have him on the show. Nathan, a very good evening to you, my friend.
Evening, Porky. How you doing?
I'm doing very well indeed, mate. I want England to win tomorrow. I hope they will. I hope we'll put a team together that will, blow the socks off the rest of Europe because we're going to the European Championships. And yet, I have two doubters in the studio in the form of Darren and Flash. Give it to them, Nathan.
Well, last time we chatted, Porky, you said that the media weren't going to give Hodgson much grief. I think he'd been appointed that day, and then the very next day, the Sun front page was it was disgusting, wasn't it? And
about his speech impediment. Yeah, sure, but that's off the field.
It's a speech pattern.
Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, well, tomorrow night's game against Norway. I think we're going to see Carroll start up front, and we're going to see this kind of 4-3-3, 4-5-1 formation that hopefully will, bring a bit of fight back to the England team. For me, I kind of agree with the guys that it's about experiment and it's about trying new systems. It's not that important if we win or lose, but for me, it's about putting in a decent performance and seeing some new players come through.
It still doesn't mean we're going to a game with a running scared type attitude. That's what I don't think.
No, it's not running
scared.
It
does, Darren. It does. I get a bit worried about guys like you sometimes. Any excuse to sort of try and raise the issue of defeat. I'm not a defeatist. I'm England's #1 fan. If you don't believe me, go and have a look at YouTube and look what I've been doing this week around London, building myself up for the competition. Yes, Flash, what would you like to say?
I think that the players tomorrow, it's all about, if they are the younger ones, it's to make them feel at home in an England shirt, in an England system, so that in 3 or 4 weeks' time, when we go to the major championships, when they're called upon, they do the job.
Yeah, okay,
you
fine.
See, the thing is, and I'll just squeeze one in here.
Yes, please.
You're saying that his job is to do this, and Hodgson's job is to do that. When is he supposed to get the time to do all of that?
Well, he's got plenty of time on his hands. He's got plenty of time on his hands.
But he's got to be able to work things out in a match formation,
He's got plenty of time on his hands. Let me get back to Nathan. Nathan, there you are, a loose character, sitting around in your vest, looking like you've got nothing better to do except put your feet up and drink beer in front of the telly tonight, right?
Just do it.
And yet,
and yet you don't seem to have yet been taken in with the passion of the battle, the mission ahead to go into Europe and to try and conquer. Where is your spirit, my boy?
Well, don't you think the expectations have slightly been, dropped with the Hodgson appointment, and it's all about, we are in a transition phase, and if we think we're going to go to the Euros and win, then we're talking poppycock. And it's not Porky. Before you jump on me and say it's a lack of spirit or fight, it's not. It's just being a realist. I think this is the first tournament we can go in without any expectation, and if we do somehow, come off with the quarters, semis, or we win the thing, then great. But it's not lack of passion. It's just lack of expectations, I think.
Nathan, do you think the media, if we get beat in the quarter-final or the semis, are going to come back and go, "Oh, nice try, lads, well done. We know you're in transition, and all the better for the World Cup qualifier"?
It's not the media, it's the country. The media don't report what the country's thinking, Flash.
Oh, do they?
That's us.
Thank you.
That's
I don't agree with that.
Thank you.
I don't agree with that.
The media, you're sitting there
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't put mine in
Thank you.
print into people.
It doesn't matter. You are sitting here with a view on the England team,
exactly.
but yet you're blaming the media.
but I'm not
Nathan
saying I go with everyone else.
Nathan, if we go out at quarter-final stage, but it was a valiant battle, do you expect the country, i.e. the fans, to be critical of England? Or will they accept that it's Roy Hodgson's first attempt to get us through a tournament?
I think, and you're probably going to hate me for this, Porky, but I do think the media will jump on Hodgson if we don't do well in the tournament, if we do go out in the first round, which could happen looking at, Rooney out for the first couple of games, and we've got some tough fixtures. But I think the country will give them a little bit more leeway and realise that, there are young players coming through. There are the older generation leaving the team, the likes of Gerrard, who, this is going to be his last tournament probably. And we do need to give them a bit of leeway to actually say, we're probably not going to win this one, but let's put in a good performance and see what happens next time.
You're saying patience.
Nathan, again, like I asked the last guy, nice glass of wine there. Yeah.
It's water, actually, but yeah, I'm teetotal, so...
Do you have a Twitter feed?
I'm a bit of a Twitter madman,
right.
yeah.
Okay, did you have a view on Mick McCarthy?
I've been a Wolves blogger for about 5-6 years, so Mick knew me quite well. And actually, when I met him, he threatened to punch my lights out because I'd been quite critical of him in the paper for many years.
So it's all right for you to be critical about managers, but not the media.
Well, I am the media. I mean, I wrote for a newspaper for 5 years, so
can you turn around and say the media will jump on his back?
I write and I blog and I video.
Yep.
So I feel like, in this generation that with Twitter and Facebook and all the social medias that the general public become the media as well. So
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Because there's a big difference between having a Twitter feed that has 10, 50 or 100 followers and having one that has how many followers do you have?
For mine, I think it's probably a couple of thousand.
Right. That's a big following.
Yeah.
The bigger the following you have, the more your views are taken by a lot of people.
Sure.
Which is why I think you are in the media. You are in the media, and it's double standards and hypocrisy to turn around and say
but you can't say because you have a big following, but you are the opinion.
Listen, I'm sorry,
you cannot blame the media.
We're not having a debate about the so-called media. We're talking about England. Now forget about the media. I don't care about the media.
Forget about the media.
Yes, you can. We are here.
Every 5 seconds you keep saying, will the media get on his back? And then you're saying, forget about the media.
No, because I'll tell you why, Darren. Because some people don't understand what the media is. They think it's newspapers.
We should tell them. We should tell them.
It's not newspapers. It's here being in a studio. It's having Nathan up there. Nathan's a man who goes out on the social network and expresses his opinions. That's what the world is coming to. One of these days, the newspapers won't exist anymore, Darren. You'll be out of work because people won't go around buying them because they'll all communicate with each other. Isn't that right, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, just to pick up on that point, I don't want to keep blowing my own trumpet and talk about me, but this blog I had was in the local paper for about 3 years, and I was kind of their first blogger, if you like. So I was online, I was in the paper, and I do think, as Darren said, that I did probably shape a few people's opinions. And, I got a lot of criticism for wearing my heart on my sleeve. I was never a big Mick McCarthy fan. And then when I met the chap and I told him, you've had a great season, Mick, but by the way, I wrote this column. He looked at me with such venom, and I thought, this is probably what it's like for managers who, feel the world's against them. So you're right, I think the old-fashioned media, the printed press, which is probably 10 years ago, the lines are blurred now, and I think the general public have because things are so instant with social media.
Thank God we live in a
things like your show that we're all part of the whole thing, so I don't think you can separate that. And I'm sorry if I've opened a hornet's nest on the media. That wasn't my intention.
No, you haven't. This is engaging conversation. Now, Roy Hodgson, of course, in charge of his first training sessions, plural, as Liverpool boss. What do you think Gary Neville's role in all this?
I think Gary's been a revelation on Sky. I think he's been fantastic. Whether he's going to be completely unbiased when he goes into the England setup and whether he can leave that sort of Sky thing behind, I'm not absolutely sure. But I think, Gary brings some fantastic experience with him. He was never the world's greatest player, but he was a solid right back.
I thought he was a very good player. I thought he was a very good player.
Yeah, but not one of the world's greatest, as Nathan said.
Yeah,
really?
85 caps.
Exactly, and a few titles and a Champions League.
Nathan, listen, mate, we've got to move on, but I'm very grateful to you for coming on the show. Thank you very much indeed. If you could remember to put your shirt on next time you come in front of a camera.
I've just come back from the gym, believe it or not. It's not.
Okay. So here we are. You're a blogging, teetotaling, gym fanatic, football fan, right?
Yeah, all of those and much more.
Great. Well, that's lovely. That's why we have you on the show, mate. We like characters like you. Thank you very much indeed, and we'll speak to you again very soon.
Cheers, Nathan.
Stay ahead of the game with Sports Tonight Live. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search for Sports Tonight Live on Facebook and like our fan page. Follow Sports Tonight TV on Twitter and tweet us your thoughts and opinions. Sports Tonight Live, it's the platform for the fans.